People disappear all the time.
Outlanderation!
Like the moment I'd realized I'd never owned a vase.
In general, I'm down with accents, but how dare you call a vase a vase? I will not stand for it, and anyone who pronounces it that way will never be welcome in my life. Just call me the urologist, because I'm over here snipping all your vase differences.
It was a Tuesday afternoon, 6 months after the end of the war.
Narration into a flashback. If this flashback then goes into reading, I'm pulling the plug on this whole thing.
Hold him right now, you hear me?
Oh, so we've swapped from a slowly paced narrative about missing people in vases to a horrific war drama. Neat. She wanders into the street in a daze after cleaning up a horrific leg wound and is now covered in blood spatter. But it wasn't on her when she walked away from the spurting leg. So did she pick it up on her stroll? I'm guessing the show has blood fountains. And honestly, I want to explore why, because I have a bad feeling we're going to get back to the boring non-viscera stuff very soon. This entire episode is going to be tin whistles and ponderous slow motion, isn't it? If the show were played at a regular speed, it would be over in 10 minutes.
Somehow in my mind,
As I stood pondering the first 5 minutes of the show that had been set in my purview, my mind drifted to how I should handle an endeavor that never stops narrating with excessive and erudite haughtiness. Sins, I mused. Lots and lots of sins.
sometimes wonder what would have happened if I'd bought that vase and made a home for it.
Like a dollhouse situation, where the vase has its own miniature-sized house to live in? That's dumb. Also, this lady is so horned up for this vase that I have to assume it comes with a pack of batteries. 90 seconds of opening theme music accompanied by spoilery images that look like someone thought Nicholas Sparks movies were too subtle. Also, seriously, these credits look like a montage of every war movie ever made. And by based on, what we really mean is that we turn this into a glorified audiobook version of the material. Because why do any work ourselves when we can just have the main character think to themselves the words someone else already wrote?
You seem to be surrounded by homes marked with blood.
Thank you, Captain Randall, or obvious. Parking on the sidewalk.
I'm afraid my husband's the historian.
Slow down, Joe! Jesus, you can't just add history buffs into this riveting tale without giving me time to freshen up on my Scottish folklore a bit. There's one thing I love, it's a show that feels like I'm reading Wikipedia.
Are you a professor then, Mr. Randall?
Every hotel needs a curious and chatty manager on duty. How else would we get all the convenient Czech insposition?
Samhain became Halloween. Yule became Christmas.
And that poor woman just pulled a muscle in her face from holding her fake smile while Mr. Randall takes forever to sign the f***ing book.
Mind you, ghosts are freed on the feast days, and they'll be wandering about.
This show now seems to be a combination of romance novel and campfire ghost story, and I cannot say skip fast enough. You didn't even take your shoes off when you jumped on the bed, and now you're gonna have sex in the bed? Do you want herpes? Because I'm pretty sure that's how you get herpes.
Frank's passion for history.
Damn it, more narration. Look, I know I've sent it a bunch in this already, but this is next level laziness, and it gets worse exponentially every time. So there's only one thing to do. That's right, narration exponents!
Claire.
Character is shushed immediately before saying something probably important and is then probably given a blowjob cliche. Stalking Orioism.
Uncle Lamb was an archaeologist.
And now the show is jonesing for some archaeology tropes. We're not even 15 minutes in and I'm drowning in this genre gumbo.
Frank's newfound passion was genealogy.
Are you f***ing kidding me right now? We have nature, history, genealogy, and what more could we?
Mine was botany.
Great! Botany! Just what we need to spice this up. We're all saved! Let's see what happens next. I'm so f***ing excited by the possibility of a plant-based plot development. Let's go! Oh, and also...
I'd developed a keen interest in the use of plants and herbs for medicinal purposes.
If by medicinal purposes you mean getting through the rest of this show, then right there with you on the herb.
So, from what I can gather...
Did you see that gleek? I could never figure out how to do that. I tried and tried while my buddy JC could gleek on command. Tick me off. This sin is for you gleeful gleekers out there.
Province of the Castle Hermit? Perhaps a troll or two?
Twitter.
You get dirty.
You can give me a bath.
I swear the subtitle of this show should have been 101 Ways to Get a Yeast Infection.
I distinctly heard the barman in the pub last night refer to us as Sassenachs.
Roll commercials.
It only means Englishman, after all, or at worst, Outlander.
Double roll commercials. Also, is anyone else in the scene concerned with the amount of smoke coming out of the fireplace and into the room? Check your flume, Marisha.
It's been so long since I've had a good cup of oolong.
You know what this show needs to really spice it up? A conversation about tea.
Oh, I had a terrible time with that Earl Grey.
Oh, do go on.
The leaves fall apart so fast, it's hard to tell anything at all.
Okay, I can't pretend anymore. I'm so goddamn bored.
There's the curved leaf, which indicates a journey.
Readings.
To be polite about it, your husband isn't likely to stray far from your bed.
Considering you're reading her sexual drive as only meant to serve a man's pleasure, I think you may have meant to say to be racist about it.
Most divided lines are broken. Yours is forked.
Considering how obvious this expositional palm reading is, I'm thinking the whole show might be forked.
I'd never put any stock in superstition and
Look like you've seen a ghost.
character says you look like you've seen a ghost after someone has likely indeed seen a ghost cliché. I swear if Fabio isn't on the cover of the Blu-ray case for this series, they've totally missed the boat.
Sex was our bridge back to one another.
So, according to local folklore, these stones were carried here from Africa by a race of Celtic giants.
If Bill Russell, Robert Parrish, and Kevin Garnett show up carrying stones right now, I'm giving every single sin back and then doubling them back on because Boston. This druid's on for some time.
They should have been ridiculous. And perhaps they were.
They were. Oh, and also, no one will be seated during the druid ritual dance to open up a portal to a historical hell portion of the program. No, seriously, the middle of this episode is just as dark, confusing, and witchy as, well, the ending of The Witch.
Once, traveling at night, perhaps I had stumbled onto the set of a cinema company filming a costume drama of some sort.
Then why are you running away before you even realize the guns are real? If you think you're accidentally on a set, why aren't you trying to get someone's attention?
I'm Jonathan Randall, Esquire, Captain of His Majesty's 8th Dragoons.
Oh, I see. It's Frank's ancestor. I wish they could have made it more obvious, so I didn't have to look up the episode guide. I mean, couldn't you have had the same actor wear new clothes with longer hair? Also, great, we've added time travel to this conglomeration, which is fine because that's always handled perfectly without confusion or paradox. Ah yes, rescue the damsel, but miss a clear opportunity to easily kill your enemy.
I wanted it to be a dream.
You mustn't move the joint for 2 or 3 days. When you begin to use it again, go very slowly at first.
And now we've added medical jargon. Settle in, folks, this show has 100 ways to bore you, and it's gonna use every single one.
See up there?
Dang it, show! I was there 30 minutes ago when this conversation happened the first time. I was paying attention, and I don't need you cutting back to remind me. Quit force-feeding us and trust your audience. Which way to go now? Woods or woods?
I suppose that means you're coming with me.
Well, not yet, but knowing this show, I'm sure she'll be coming with you soon.
I can handle a single red coat with one hand. Maybe even 2. Not 3.
You have 3 hands?
I've never had a woman use such language in my life.
Well, someone's never listened to the Behind the Sins podcast, have they? Considering she just tore part of her dress to bandage his wound, why is it so intact now? And you might say, but maybe she tore it from somewhere else, and I would say, proof mother...
I'd been here with Frank 2 days ago.
Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ.
You, science! Make sure you click that bell icon.
Sellouts.
But clicking the little bell icon is how you make sure you get notified every time we release a video. So click it.
Sellouts.
Top there, that's Cocknalman Rock.
Oh my God, you said you threw the rock art collection out. You said it was history. Yes, you did.
Uncle Lamb was an archaeologist.
Aziz, light!
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who was this love of yours? Another prince like this one? Ugly, rich, and scabby?
No.
Brains! Butthead! Dingleberry butt!
Snotface!
See how it commands the high ground in every direction.
It's over, Anakin!
How's the peeping?
I'm a nurse. Not a wet nurse.
Mama!
Now, you'll be telling me exactly how and why you come to know there's an ambush up ahead.
I don't know, but I heard the redcoats use cotton.
The Almighty says, don't change the subject, just answer the question.